Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Ryan, and we are back with some more Unreal World today, continuing our conquest of the Njerpez. That's right, we've been making some serious progress here, so if you're just tuning in for the very first time and you want to see all the fighting and the conquest and the recruiting we've done up to this point, there is a link to the full playlist down below. And also, I should mention that if you do get caught up with the current series and you still want more Unreal World content, I've got a whole bunch of other playlists down there in the description too, in addition to this one. So you can check out some of my older series. But anyway, let's take a look at what we've got cooking here today. So we are down in the farthest southeasterly part of what was once the Njerpez territory. So all this area here was once covered in purple, but we have knocked out 4 villages most recently. We've got this one down here. The 2 red X's are shelters that I constructed just to sleep, you know, in between the different fights. But the white X's represent cities that we have defeated. And the cultural boundaries have receded a bit. You can see there's still some active settlements right over here and stuff, but we're focused on these 4 at the moment because they all still have loot in them. So we're right here. I don't think I have any more people with me. Our army is completely gone. I do have some extra animals though. It might be a little hard to see, but I've got a couple of pigs with me now. One of these villages had a whole group of sows, but unfortunately, and I've mentioned this before, pigs will go hostile sometimes if you try and rope them up. If you capture like an enemy village like we did, and they're in the pen, you can go rope them, but sometimes they'll attack you. Now, if you got dogs with you, like I always do, it's not really that big of an issue. We just killed them. I had to kill 2 of the pigs, in other words, but you know, we got the meat is being dried back at one of the villages. I've got it marked. But anyway, let's talk about loot. So, I have learned my lesson from the last campaign, the last round of villages we destroyed, not to stack everything in one pile. So what I've done for each village is I've made a separate pile in each one for the clothing, the furs, and then the tools and weapons. So right now you can see we're looking at the complete set of clothing that came from this village. Basically all the bodies that I scavenged. And occasionally I'll find like a piece of fully undamaged clothing in one of the cabins, because they do have some gear occasionally. But this one, it looks like it's, oh, actually, yeah, here you can see at the very top. So these 2 pieces are undamaged, meaning we probably got these out of one of the huts or one of the cabins. Now this thing here, the hauberk, I think I have a male hauberk on. Let's take a look real quick, because I am wearing my full armor set right now because we just got out of a fight. Yeah, I've got a male hauberk, so it's slightly damaged, but I'm going to say that it's still probably better coverage than the lamelier. Still struggle with pronunciation occasionally, but nonetheless, we'll stick with what we got, and we'll just trade that one away. So that was the stack of clothing. Now we got another pile of stuff right here. It's hard to see, but the animals. But this is the weapons and the tools, essentially. And there's not a lot at this one. Definitely some good trading materials, though. And one thing I am going to do as we go through and look at these, because we got 4 villages to stop at. This is just a pile from this village. So this one's got a separate pile. So does this one, and so does this one. So we've essentially, what you're looking at here, times 4. But some are bigger, some are maybe slightly smaller than this one. But what I'm going to do is, as we go through and look at these, I'm going to push these onto the cows that I've got. And we're going to do a little bit of a trading trip. I don't think we're going to go for the full Drick trade. I should probably zoom out just a little bit. Yeah, Drick over here, this turquoise color, they're the ones that probably the richest culture on the peninsula, undoubtedly. But the Remi, which we've visited and quite thoroughly investigated, they're also fairly wealthy too. So there's a number of villages over here I'd like to buy some dogs from. That's really the main thing I want, is some dogs. And I don't know, maybe if I find a item or something, we'll go for it. But you can see now some of the villages do have pigs as well, and I've been thinking about it. I kind of want to, since we have some pigs now and they do get aggressive, I want to grab some pigs and maybe get like 10 of them And once we get towards the end of our, campaign and we've wiped out most of the villages and we're just going for some of these smaller settlements, I might use pigs. We'll see if we can't get a hog army going. Well, looks like my character's got frostbite in both of his feet. This actually happened between recording while I was just getting all the gear accumulated and stuff. It just got really, really cold out there. You can see the thermometer, the color on it. There's this tiny sliver of blue at the bottom indicating the temperature level, and that is pretty low. It might be able to go a little bit lower, but it's almost bottomed out. And I did actually find some wool socks too. I picked them up off one of the corpses, so we've got some woolen socks. They're not perfect, slightly damaged, maybe a hole or two in the toe, but overall I think it's helped a little bit. And of course, it is possible to recover, so that's why I built the fire here. We're going to sleep next to this, obviously, but if we go to our physician skill, I can actually treat frostbite by warming up whether it's your hands or your feet, no matter what, in the fire. You don't put it in the fire, but you warm it up next to it, and then you can see it actually shows the treated bar there. So I'm trying to do that. We'll get over it eventually. It won't leave any permanent marks or anything. As long as you get over it, it's fine. But it is a trial, and it's definitely got my endurance down, -13 from the baseline. So that kind of sucks, especially here in the winter time when we're trying to make a trip and we're wearing all kinds of armor and stuff. But that's okay, that's okay. So we have come to the next village here. And don't worry, I did push off all that gear and stuff from the previous village. That's all now loaded up onto the animals. And let's just briefly take a look at these piles here. Like I said, I've got 3 stacks. One of them is for furs, and we've got 2 lynx furs right there. They're just normal quality, but that's still very valuable. I'm going to pick these up. I need to push them on one of the cows, but sometime I need to tie up the animals, sort them out. It's a little bit annoying, but we've got another large stack of clothing here, and I noticed like there's some armor pieces in here. Iron helm caught my eye. Again, it's damaged, but it'll work probably for some sort of trade. Oh, there's another iron helm, fine woolen shirt. Actually, I kind of want to pick that up. Can we wear that? I must have a woolen shirt on. Oh no, we can wear it. Nice. I will put that on too. Won't help with the frostbite per se, but it should keep us a little bit warmer. Okay, there you go. And let's see, the final stack has got a bunch of weapons and tools in it. Very nice. We even got a metal pot right here for cooking and stuff if we wanted to do that. But this is all wonderful trade goods. The bastard sword, the scimitar, that's very valuable stuff right there. But like I said, that's the second village. I actually came down to the south. We started the episode here, and instead of going to this one, that's where I want to end. So we're going to go in a little loop, and then we'll come right back to here before we head off to the Remy culture. Well, check it out. I had to construct some leashes here. I've got 6 free leather ropes. I also had to make a couple for the pigs that we captured earlier. And of course, that was off camera. I did that, in between the episodes. But here today, we've got 6 cows right here inside. This is the Njerpez village. We're still here. And we're going to put these guys on the leash. Now, unlike the pigs, I'm fairly certain these guys won't go hostile, so there shouldn't be any fighting or anything, but I still need to take my skis off to cross the fence. There we go. But yeah, if one of the bulls does go hostile, I'll show you guys the fight and stuff, but... Oh, look, it did! I was wrong. The bull's trying to go hostile. Oh, darn it. So technically it is on the leash, but it's still attacking me because I'm next to it. Oh, crap. Did it hit me? It says barely catches it, but it manages to savage its... Oh, the dogs are attacking the bull. Yeah, so, like I said, as long as you got dogs with you, the fight's usually pretty easy. I'm just going to ignore it. It will be annoying now because it's going to be constantly interrupting me, but I'm going to go ahead and just leash up the rest of the animals here. See, that bull went on the leash peacefully. See, it says the bull is now put on a leash. This is a different one. This is the one to the south right here. And it didn't complain. It didn't attack me or anything. So I guess I was wrong about the fact that the cows don't attack, but not all of them do, at least. Okay, we are back up north, well, relatively speaking, here in the most northerly village of our most recent conquest, and things are looking pretty good. I've got a big old pile right here of clothing. Now, this is basically what's left over that I can't fit on any of the animals. There's a lot of stuff here, but I've got about 4 times that much stuff packed away on these beautiful beasts here. Just look at the number we've got. So if we take a look at the dogs, you can see that each one of them has a full load of clothes on there. Yep, they're all pretty weighted down. This guy was like tail into stuff, so I could probably pack a little bit more. I'm not taking the pigs with me. Like I said, I'm gonna start buying pigs, but they're just gonna stay behind, mainly because it's easier not to have them. You know, the fewer animals, the easier it is to deal with them, and I've got a lot right now, so I don't need any more just taking up space. And yes, believe it or not, every one of these cows and bulls up here has stuff on it. Not all of them are necessarily full, but I'm trying to keep them organized. So for instance, like the trade good ones here, he is full, believe it or not. He's got a lot of weighty stuff on him. These guys, I've got like 4 of these dudes. Yeah, there's trade goods 1, 2, 3, and I think maybe 4, but each one's just loaded up with weapons and tools. But like here's one for clothes, got a bunch of just weighted down with clothing. Another clothing one, the fur one, yeah, that one's probably still got some room on it, but like I said, I'm trying to keep it organized and not mix everything up. Equally, I've got one here for food too, which could probably take a little bit more space, but nope, we're keeping it organized. So I think we're ready. My character doesn't have anything on him except the gear he's wearing. Oh, and I should mention this is the food we've got preparing at the moment. It is very recent that I just started this, so we've got like over 20 days for each pile here. But here's the bull that we killed. And by the way, that was the only bull that went rogue on us. So every other one was willing to submit to my dominance and be leashed. So we got a pretty good herd. But anyway, there's a couple of pigs too, like I said. So eventually, in about a month, we'll have tons more food. But we can't wait that long. So it's time to grab the leashes, pull those off the tree. There's a lot of them there. And yes, we're going to take the dogs too, of course. Got to take our pack of dogs. I'll be looking to pick up some more dogs too, and some more bulls and stuff, but it's going to be a chore with all these animals leashed around me. I might have to actually start taking the time to leash the animals before I make a purchase, but yeah, it sucks, but it's just something you got to do. Oh, well, it's been a tiring journey so far, but we have made it all the way from right here, and we've moved westward to this location. There we are, the little red dot. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a bit. So this is an interesting part of the map. It's one of the areas that'll remain consistent no matter how many times you randomize it. You know, the coastline will change, obviously. It might be a little bit bigger and smaller, but this region down here in the corner, which is partially obscured, sorry, but it is part of the ocean. There's like a little inlet or a bay that opens up here. And like I said, it's pretty persistent. There's usually a couple of rivers that will start here and go up into the land, creating large lake systems. But one reason I brought you guys in for this is because it can affect our fighting. God, I'm running into animals left and right too. That's alright, we'll just exit out here. We're not doing any hunting today, guys, so let's just leave the deer alone. I'm going to have to stop and rest, possibly build a shelter just to get a good night's sleep with no snow. But like I say, this can be good to explore, so you find the shortest route, basically, you know, so you don't want to go up and around unnecessarily while you've got an army of mercenaries who are counting down, you know. You want to get over here as quickly as possible. So if I kind of open this up, and especially in the winter, which is great because we can literally just go right over the ice, you know. Now obviously we can't skate on the water, we're not Jesus, but we can move pretty close, so trim off a little bit of extra time from the trip, and it's perfectly safe, especially out here on the world map. All right, we have made it over to the Remy territory here, and we've come back to one of the villages that had, well, this is where the master blacksmith was, but I was looking around their cottages, and I noticed they had a huge stack of salmon, so we're going to need a lot of food to be recruiting, more and more soldiers, and I know I mentioned this briefly, but I ran out of food last time, and I was having to recruit and give, like, people 8 stacks of food, and then I take it back from them after they agreed and use it to give to another pawn. So I don't want to do that necessarily. It upsets the men. And we want our army to march on a full stomach when they're ready. So anyway, I've got a bunch of our crappy clothing here we're giving them. So there we go, buddy. It is a deal. Yes, very nice. And that was it. Literally, I just really don't want anything else. Maybe we'll do some pigs, actually. Yeah, we're going to get some pigs. But I definitely want to tie up the dogs and stuff because pigs won't listen to you. If I'm purchasing dogs, I can order them to stay still and we'll walk over to them. But if you don't leash a pig or a cow or a sheep right away, then they can start to get away from you. And you might end up having to sprint after them or something like that. So, and it's feasible that they get away entirely. You can just race, you can chase them to exhaustion. So I don't want that to happen. So in other words, not having a crap ton of animals around me is probably a smart idea. Okay, well, we ended up with a few pigs here. Where are they? There they are, 3 little piglets. Okay, so we've got 2 boars and 1 sow. One of the boars is big, too. And again, I don't know how effective they are in combat, honestly. I mean, I know I've faced off against them in the wild when hunting, and, they can be just as deadly as anything else, I'm sure. But what I would like to try is, like I've mentioned, once we get basically the majority of the civilized, areas here destroyed, we've got a bunch of these little ones that have popped up as time goes by over here. What I'd like to do is try out some different techniques with these littler settlements because they are usually smaller. They'll have like 5 guys in them as opposed to like a whole village with women and children and stuff like we've been encountering. So again, I think it'd be fun to go in there with like 10 boars and maybe just unleash the boars and let them just go run wild in the village. Well, like I said, we'll test out a few different, and if anybody has any ideas they'd like to see too, drop them down in the comments. But all right, so this is literally the very first village we've stopped at here at the Remy. So we've got a lot more we can go to and buy some more pigs and dogs and stuff. So I might leave everything here tied up at this one just because, again, it's so easy not to have to do it over and over again in each village. But maybe I'll take a cow with me who's got my trading goods and leave everything else here. But of course, when you do something like that, you got to mark it. So I'll go ahead and just say animals at this location. Since I went in and bought all the pigs out anyway, got to edit the marker. So there we go. And once we've finished, my plan is to buy a bunch of animals. Then we're going to recruit another army here from the Remy. So basically anywhere that doesn't have a white X, we can recruit from still. So there's potential huge army here. All right, well, I've gotten quite an army behind me, as you can see. And once again, this is just a small fraction of the Remy. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm at the 6th village I've recruited from in this area. And of course, as I mentioned, I've been picking up different animals whenever we stop at one of these places that sells them. So I've got a couple of pigs, 3 new dogs, and a cow. Oh no, that's wrong. The cow I brought with me just to bring some extra food if I needed it and whatever else. But I'm going to go ahead and drop. I've got some extra trade goods still left over and a bunch of food that I traded for so we could hire an army. But I think our army's pretty good at this point, and I want to get moving. So like I said, I'm going to drop whatever I've got left and just push it onto the cow. And we need to circle back to that previous village where we dropped all the other animals off. I'm going to grab the war dogs, and I'll probably go ahead and grab all the animals. We'll bring them back into the Njerpez territory with us. That's the best way to do it, I think, is just to have them all back there. But we've got quite an army, so you know what that means. We are going on the warpath again. Oh boy, we are back here in what feels like home now, the Njerpez culture, or what was once their culture, but we have severed it. We have cut it straight down the middle. There's still a lot of work though to do. As you can see, we've made progress, but they're not gone. So, whoops, let's go back to the map actually real quick. So we're here. I decided to come to this conquered village just right up close to the entrance, and we're going to tie off all the animals and stuff. Well, not all of them, just the cows and the pigs for now. But then, look at this army. They just all spoke to me too. We've only been gone about a day from the Remi, so they've still got 3 days with us. We could easily, as long as they don't die on me, hit up all of these villages here along the coast. I think that's going to be the goal. Although, you know what? I always reconsider after I say it, but you know what? No, let's go for the heart of things. Or, even better, maybe we could push it and go to these 3. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We're going to go all the way out here and see if we can make it. So, again, I'll still tie up the animals here and just make sure I leave a note. We'll say animals. There we go. And yeah, let's see if we can make it and how much time we have left when we get there. Okay, we have made it over here. Yep, we're very close. And let's see if we can sleep for a little bit. Okay, the sun's up a little bit brighter here. Oh, look. This village here is a walled village. Interesting. So first thing I do want to do, like I said, is let's zoom in here to a nice open area where there's no trees and stuff. And let's just talk or just wait and see till they talk to us. Okay, 2 more days. Yeah, that's probably going to be the majority. I'm just going to flip through this. Watch out. Epileptic warning. There we go. Okay. So that was our army. They've all got 2 days. And the dogs are with us. So we are ready to go, guys. I got a bunch of food and water. Well, not a bunch, but I got enough food and water here just for the trip. We'll go ahead and break a hole in the ice. Just kill a little bit more time. Sadly, I am still suffering from some frostbite on my feet. I was hoping that would be healed up, but it's pretty darn close. Nonetheless, it is still contributing -3% to my overall fighting strength, essentially, so it's holding me back a little bit. But I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, so we'll go ahead and drop our water here at this location, and I'll drop the food too. And of course, when I mark it on the map, we'll just say food at this spot. Boom. There we go. And I think we do want to kind of reposition ourselves. I'm going to move a little bit. And of course, we don't want to leave anybody behind. There we go. Yeah, we want to be on this side of the fence typically, or sometimes if it's a trap fence, I think you can come in from the north. So we'll try that. But again, we're not going to step directly on to the village. We're going to come in from 1 tile away and kind of stealth our way in out of the fog and the snow and stuff. But unfortunately, I think this assault is going to have to wait for the next episode, guys. So we're going to end it on a bit of a cliffhanger here. But you can count on the fact that we are going to hit up these 3 villages, hopefully all 3 of them. Possibly this one too. I was thinking about it, since this one's so far out here, even though it's a smaller size, I might just go ahead and clear that out too, if our army holds up. We certainly have the numbers. We've got the time. Now we just have to wait and see if they can stand against the Njerpez. But like I said, guys, tune in for the next episode to find out. So I appreciate you joining me. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more content. And I will see you all on the next one.